Hello students, in this session we are going to study firewall architecture. So there are three types of firewall architecture. Actually this firewall is implemented on a single machine. So the stronger firewalls have multiple components. So in this section we'll discuss different firewall architectures. The very first is dual home host architecture. Second one is screen host architecture. Third one is screen subnet architecture. So let's start with this dual home host architecture. This is the simple firewall architecture. It is a computer system which has separate network interfaces for minimum 2 networks. This host computer can act as a router between the networks. This routing function should be disabled when it is used in firewall architecture. Therefore, the host computer isolates the network from each other, but it can see traffic on all the networks. Therefore, IP packets from one network, for example, external network or internet, are not directly routed to the other network. Right? Since this dual home host is working as a router, the packet which are coming from the internet or outer network or external network are not directly directed to the internal network. Systems inside the firewall, that is internal network, can communicate with this dual home host via one interface, and system outside the firewall, that is on the internet, can communicate with this dual home host via another interface, right? So however, this system cannot communicate directly with each other. This external world and internal world cannot communicate with each other. Therefore, the traffic between these two networks, internal network and external network, is completely blocked, right? So, dual home host can provide a very tight control on the traffic flowing on the network. Not a single packet is allowed without the consent of this dual home host. If the rule is designed that does not allow the packet to flow between the internal and external network, then all the packets are blocked by the dual home host. So in this architecture, dual home host itself is critical for the network security. It provides services by only proxying them. So proxying is much less challenging, but it may not be available for all services the users are interested in. The next architecture is screen host architecture. This architecture provides services from a host that is attached to the internal network only. For this, a separate router is used. See, this architecture is providing services from a host. This is the host, which is known as a bastion host, or it is also known as a proxy. This host is connected to the internal network, right? A separate router is used. So in this architecture, packet filter is used to provide the main security. The screen host architecture requires applications provided by this bastion host that sits on the internal network. So the packet filtering rules are configured in such a way that this bastion host is the only host on the internal network that is accessible from the internet, right? So if any person want to access this internal network, then uh, it can be accessed first with the help of a bastion host, right? Even then, only certain types of connections are allowed. If any external computer want access to the internal computer to use some services, it has to first connect to this bastion host. This bastion host is responsible to maintain a high level security for the other host, right? So the major disadvantage of the screen host architecture is that if an attacker becomes successful to attack into the bastion host, then the network security between the bastion host and the rest of the internal host is completely collapsed. Automatically, all the internal hosts which are connected to this internal network, they will also get attacked, right? So in screen host architecture, the router still works as the first line of defense. So whatever the traffic comes, so defensing will be done firstly by the screening router, right? So filtering and access control for all the packet is performed at the router itself. So the router allows entering only that traffic that the rules explicitly identify. It restricts other incoming connections to the host. Therefore, the router may also be a single point of failure. If the security of the router is compromised, the complete network is available to an attacker. So this was related to the screen host architecture. Now let's see the third type of architecture, that is screen subnet architecture. This architecture is functionally similar to the screen host architecture, the second type, but it provides some extra security. So it gives strength to the security of the firewall by adding a perimeter network, which helps in further isolating the internal network from the internet. So there is a perimeter network added between the internet and internal network, right? So the most vulnerable computer in the network is the bastion host. In screen host architecture, the internal network is wide open to attack through this bastion host. So in this case, bastion host is very attractive target for the attacker. If the attacker is able to successfully break the security of this bastion host, then the complete internal network is open for the attacker. So to reduce the impact of the attack, the solution is to isolate this bastion host on perimeter network. In this case, the attacker may be able to get partial access, but the complete internal network is not available to the attacker. So in screen subnet architecture, two screening routers, exterior router and interior routers, are used. So each of these routers are connected to the perimeter network. See, in the perimeter network there are two routers, exterior router and interior router. One router is installing between the internal network and the perimeter network. So this is known as the interior router, which is present between the internal network and the perimeter network, right? So there are, while the other router is to install between the external network, that is internet, and the perimeter network. Therefore it is known as exterior router. So there are two routers used to protect the network. To break into the internal network, the attacker has to pass both the routers, exterior router as well as interior router. If the attacker is able to break the bastion host, then also due to the internal router, the internal network is not accessible to the attacker. And to compromise the internal network, there is no single point that will be vulnerable, right? So to provide more security, a number of perimeter networks can be used between the internet and outside world and the interior network. So the less trusted services are kept in the outer perimeter network, so that if the attacker is able to break the outer system, he has to work hard to break the internal system. So this can be achieved by using different configuration for each perimeter network. So if all the system have same rules, then this additional perimeter has no use to provide the additional security. Now let's see what do you mean by this perimeter network. This is a firewall which is installed between a private network and internet. This is our private network and this is our internet. So it controls all the traffic between the private network and the internet. The perimeter network is an additional network between the external network and the internal network. It provides additional security to the internal network. So if an attacker is able to break the outer security of the firewall, then the perimeter net protects the internal network by providing an extra layer of security between the attacker and the internal network. Bastion host. So in the screen subnet architecture, a host is attached to this perimeter network. This host is called as a bastion host. Any connection from the external network is first contacted to the bastion host. Interior router is also called as choke router, CHOKE, choke router. It protects the internal network from the outside world or external network as well as from perimeter network. It blocks most of the packets using packet filtering for the firewall. Exterior router is also called as access router in firewalls. It protects the perimeter network as well as the internal network from the outside world such as internet. So this was related to the architecture, 3 types of architecture of firewall. Now let's go through the comparison between the types of firewalls, that is packet filtering firewalls and application level gateways, right? So packet filtering is the simplest and application level gateway is complex. No change in software is required for performing the job in packet filtering. Here also no change is required, but it is visible to the user. It can see only addresses and type of service protocol in packet filtering, but in application level it can see the full data packet. Here the auditing is difficult in packet filtering, while it is simple in application level gateway. Configuration is difficult in packet filtering, while it is easy in application level gateway. Screening is based on connection rules, while here the screening is based on the behavior of proxies. It is less powerful and this application level gateway is more powerful. Now let's see what do you mean by a trusted system. So a system that have no choice but trust is known as a trusted system. So the security of the system depends on the success of the system. So if the trusted system fails, then it will compromise the security of the entire system. the trusted system fails, then will compromise the security of the entire system. Therefore, there should be minimum number of trusted components in a system. So, trusted system should provide security, integrity, reliability, and privacy. So, trusted system in policy analysis, let's see how it is used. So, in trusted system, some conditional prediction about the behavior of user or elements within the system has been determined prior to authorizing access to resources within the system. Right? So, whenever any system want to access something, then before accessing the resources within the system, whether it is trusted or not trusted will be checked, right? So many systems are trusted system if they have the following options. So the probability to threat or risk analysis is calculated, which is used to access trust for taking the decision before authorization. Second is to ensure the behavior within the system. So the deviation analysis is used here for trusted system. Now let's start with the access control. So one of the security services is access control. So in this service, users are identified and given certain privileges to computer system or resources. So the access to the data or computer is controlled here. So if the user misuses the privileges given to him or her, then the access to such users is denied. Access control mechanism allows to protect this private and confidential information from unauthorized users. So in access control mechanism, identification of the user is carried out first using authentication algorithm. So it includes keeping the records, timestamp of all the requests, which is helpful during the audit of the system. Now let's see what are the objectives of access control. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the objectives of access control. Let's see the types of access control. So the very first type of access control is discretionary access control system. Second is mandatory access control system. Third is role-based access control system. And fourth is rule-based access control system. So let's start with the first one, discretionary access control system. In this, the owner of the information has the right to decide about who can read, write, and execute the information. So using this, user can create and modify files in their own directories. If I have created one file, I am the owner of that file. I will decide who can read my file, who can write, that means who can modify or update, and who can execute the information in that file, right? Second type is mandatory access control system. In this, the creator of the information has no right to decide about who can access or modify it. The access to any information is decided by the administrator and authorities. I have created one file, but I have no rights to give the permission or take the permission. So all rights are given by the administrators and authorities. So these systems are used in military application, financial applications. Next, third type is role-based access control system. In this, the users are permitted to access systems and information based on their role within the organization, right? If suppose there is a ERP coordinator, then he or she has the right to access that ERP server. Other person doesn't have that rights to access it, right? So the Users are permitted to access systems and information based on their role within the organization. This type of access can be allowed to individuals or it can be allowed to group of peoples. Next is rule-based access control system. So in rule-based access control system, some rules are configured and predefined. So the decision about whom to allow the access to the system and information are based on these rules. Rules are designed such that all the users from a particular network, host, domain, or IP address are allowed to use the information or system or resources. So this was related to the concept of firewall. In the next session, we will go through the intrusion part. Thank you.